So I got this, read it a few times this past week. This is Zig Zag by Sweeney. It was published by Fantagraphics. It's one of their books under the Fantagraphics Underground imprint. And I just thought I'd review it because it's an interesting book in that the art's amazing. There is a stated story, but it's you kind of sort of see it. But I just kind of want to give you my thoughts. So this is the cover, which is really well done. It's almost like a 3D, almost like a photograph. Now, and then the story starts off, and it's a wordless comic where you have this traveler, and it's sort of like one of those Rube Goldberg devices where something happens and it hands off to something, and then that thing happens and it hands off to something happen. It's I know, like, I guess a lot of storytelling is that way where one panel conveys the next, but here it's a lot of like, well, we're going here, now we're gonna do this, and I'll show you. Like, it starts off with this traveler riding this skeleton horse, and the horse goes inside this domicile, whatever you want to call it. And then the traveler walks in and he places a call to this being. And this being goes ahead and creates these, or generates these three characters, and they're walking off and they take some transport. And then the transport takes them somewhere, and then this character who made the call on page 2 disintegrates. But as he disintegrates, these beings pop up out of him, almost like fungi. And then they go through that opening, and these robots that were created pick up these beings, and they're loaded in, and they're pilots. Sort of like your Power Ranger robot things. And then they're walking, and they're taking a trip to this location, and they meet this being, and this being has them this weapon. And then the being communicates where they have to go. So what they have to do, so this one being drops this liquid. I don't know what this represents, but it's like charges it, and it creates a portal, and through that portal they walk in, and they have this adventure where they meet these beings, and then they're told you have to kind of go here, and then it hands off from here to this other location where they're given more signs, and then somehow the 4 robots are combined into a Megazord, and then so now there's one robot made up of the 4 beings, and then it goes in searching of this villain, this threat they're supposed to destroy, and then they fight the initial defenses, meets this villain, or meets this being, excuse me, and then they just come in and just start blasting people with that special weapon they got until they come here, and then they're saying, oh, you realize, oh, they're calling out the defenses. So all these creatures come out to destroy this Megazord, and another drop comes out, and again, we don't know what that is, and these beings are here trying to defend the gates against this creature. And eventually he launches like some kind of weapon that causes some kind of weird, I don't know, say acid rain or some kind of rain that debilitates all of these defenders. And so one of the defenders tries to shoot the creature, but then the cohort that he met a couple pages later captures this energy blast, holds it, and then he's fighting this being, and then he kind of like shoots that energy blast into this evil being, which is the boss, the big boss in the story, and they destroy him. Then it ends, and then he goes off riding on that skeletal horse, and here it ends, and he's running off in the sunset. And this is the end. This is that being, and they're all, I guess, somehow like, these are the people that worshipped him or whatever, and they're just gathered around kind of honoring him. And what's interesting is, like, the way this ends is sort of could be the way it begins. Like, it's one big circle. I don't know if it's just my interpretation or not. This is a book that's not made, I think, in my opinion, to be straight ahead. It's really open to interpretation. The art here is really amazing. The video does not convey the saturation and the colors. This is a lot, it reminded me a little bit of Yellow Submarine, the Beatles movie, but with a lot more saturation, and maybe even wilder and deeper in thought. There's just a ton of work done with these borders because these borders are all different. It's not like this is the same border here, and this is the same border here, and this is the same border here. Like these frames, like these panels, borders, this isn't the same here and here. These are all different. I mean, there are variations, I'm sure, of each one, but it's not like he copied every one and every one's the same. They're all slightly different, which is an amazing piece of work. The storytelling here is pretty good. You can sort of get what he's trying to do, but I think the more you read it, the more you pick up. It's one of these pieces of work, like some films. The first time you watch it, you sort of get it, and then you watch it maybe a second or a third time, and you're like, oh, I see what they're trying to do now. It's really pretty cool. I liked it. I'm glad I got it, even though I'm still not 100% sure what it's about. Now, one of the complaints I heard about this book, and I think is somewhat justified, is that the cover stock on all the pages is like thin cover paper. Like, think about like maybe the stock you would have for like Marvel trade paperback pages or like a cover from a Big Two comic. It's very thin. It's easy to damage. If you're into having CGC 10 books, this is not the book for you. There's going to be like little spine wrinkles here and there. It's not going to fall apart if you like blow on it or handle it, but it is more prone to being a little wrinkled and slight dings. So again, if you're one of these people that have to have your books in pristine condition, this is not the book for you. But if you want to see something that's really interesting art-wise and kind of pushes some boundaries, I remember Hedra was a book that people kept saying, oh yeah, it's really pushing. And I thought it was interesting, but I didn't really think it pushed all that much, like create anything new. This is just out there just to assault your eyeballs. There's a lot of thought that goes into this. Again, I'd like to get a little more insight as to what the creator was trying to do, so I could enjoy it more. But I've read this 4 times now, and I've enjoyed it every time, and I've gotten a little bit more every time. And I'm pretty sure that what I get out of it is different than what someone else will get out of it. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but this is just a book, and a friend said this best. So this is a book not so much to be read, but to be experienced, like some movies and some albums. You know, it's like you just want to experience it. So it's pretty cool. You can get it from Fantagraphics Press. If you're interested in different, something that's really well done, and you're not one of these people that has to have everything CGC 9.9 or 10, then yeah, I would get it. It's pretty cool, and it's definitely different. Thanks.